And there you have it, root and all. And when I killed that rosemary that time, I was thinking, what did I do wrong? It's itchy on my face. All right, marshmallow root. Absolutely beautiful. Good morning, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. And this morning we are picking herbs. So we are gonna go ahead, we're gonna harvest the lemongrass, we're gonna harvest the marshmallow, and we're also going to harvest some rosemary. I am not always good at harvesting my herbs. And so I'm trying to get better with that. And I think this year has been the best year for me at actually harvesting my herbs. I've recently gotten into wanting to use herbs for medicinal purposes. And if I don't harvest them, then I cannot use them. And so that's what we're gonna do today. And the lemon balm is also growing back. If you remember, we cut it back really low because it wasn't looking good. Then we moved it from a shady spot and put it into a more sunnier spot. Let me show you. And now it has grown back and it's actually looking green and there aren't brown tips. So we're gonna give that a little more time and then we're gonna harvest this too and save it. But I'm also out here this morning admiring the beauty. There are spots that are not beautiful, but we're taking care of them. By the way, just wanna ask you all, do you know what the wasps look like that come for the worms? Because I'm seeing a lot of little, they look like bees, but they don't look like bees. So I'm wondering if I'm actually seeing the wasps because I'm seeing them down on the plants that look really, eaten up, which that is not new. Everybody knows that's what the garden is looking like right now. But I'm seeing them and they look like little, I don't know if they're hornets or what kind of bees they are, but they look like bees, but they're very small. But I'm seeing them go onto the bottom parts of the flowers, the back sides of the flowers. So I'm wondering if that's what I'm seeing. Anyway, tell me if you know what these wasps actually look like. I'm gonna look it up, but I know people over here garden, so they may know too. Be a little bit easier for me to get the answer. But I'm also still seeing the white moths. But I will tell you, the amount of caterpillars has drastically decreased since I came out here and went plant by plant and took them off. Drastically decreased. And I feel like I'm seeing growth in the middle part of the plant now that's not already eaten up. So that is a plus. But let's go ahead, get started. I'm not gonna harvest all of the lemongrass because what I want to try to do is see if I can keep that plant growing if I put it in the greenhouse and then put it back out in summer. So we're gonna harvest a good amount of it, the leaves and the stalk part of it, because I understand, or as I understand, I can use the leaves and I can use the actual stalk of the plant. I ordered a new book. It hasn't gotten here yet, but there's 560 medicinal herbs in it, and I'll put it up on the screen. I ordered it from Amazon. 560 herbs in it, and I feel like out of 560, it'll have any herb that I'm growing in my backyard. So the reason why this happened is because I couldn't find a lot on lemongrass in the books that I have. They showed how to make a lemongrass tea, but that was it. So I want to see what else I can use lemongrass for. I'm gonna make a tincture out of the rosemary, and I'm gonna let the root of the marshmallow plant dry because I wanna use that medicinally too. Oh, we had a volunteer marshmallow, and since I'm about to harvest the root and everything, we're also gonna move that marshmallow over into the other pot so that when summer comes, that pot will just grow a new marshmallow plant. By the way, I am out here with my regular tennis shoes on because there is no mud. There is no mud because these wood chips are making it amazing and easy just to come out here dressed the way that I was already dressed, and I don't have to change anything right now. Super excited about that. So we're gonna start with the marshmallow plant. This plant, I believe, is 2 years old. In my reading, I found that it is best to harvest it when in fall for the root. Now, the leaves and the flowers could have been harvested during the summer, but I hadn't started doing research, so I was just enjoying the flowers and letting the bees enjoy the flowers. But so we're gonna go ahead, pull this one out, and then we're going to replant the other one that volunteered. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is just kind of cut it so that I'm not struggling to get it out. So I'm gonna cut it. I'm just gonna lay these branches on the ground. They'll go back into the soil. And I'm just going to dig it up, and then we're gonna replace it. But I feel like I need to dig because it's the root. So that's my plan. And I don't know how big it is because it's, like I said, it's been in here. It's a 2-year-old plant. Just loosening it basically, and then I'm gonna pull it out. Must be a deep one. Not coming out easy. This is my first time harvesting marshmallow root, but I am kind of glad that it's in a bucket, because in the ground I feel like this could be tougher to get out in a pot, not a bucket. Let's see. There we go. So it's marshmallow root, and we'll let that dry, and then yeah, I love that. We'll rinse it off a little bit, I guess, too, and let it dry. First time harvesting marshmallow root. Pretty excited about that. Nice. Now let's grab the other one and put it in here. It's actually in a bag with some anise hyssop, because it volunteered. They both volunteered. So I'm gonna let the anise hyssop have the bag, and then I'm gonna put the other marshmallow in this pot. So this is the pot where anise hyssop and marshmallow volunteered. We're just gonna remove all of the marshmallow. And there you have it, root and all, and we're gonna move it over. Marshmallow, I believe, is a perennial, so it'll come back every year unless you harvest it. So with that being said, the one that I just pulled out clearly won't come back every year, but I was able to replace it already because I had one that volunteered. I'm pretty excited to like get this preserved and then start being able to use it once I do my research. But the research that I saw says that it is a pretty safe herb, so happy to hear that. It helps with your throat. When we go in the house to preserve it, I'll read off exactly what it says it's good for. But and then next year, I'll also make sure that I save the flowers and the leaves. But for this year, we got root. Okay, so the next thing we're harvesting is rosemary. And so with rosemary, you want to make sure you cut more of the newer growth. So you see right here, if you cut above it, this is where your new leaves will grow and the plant will keep growing. So you don't want to cut too far down into the woody area, because that's where your plant will stop growing. I can tell you that from experience because I have killed a rosemary plant before. But now I know. And you always want to cut above a node so that it can just keep growing out. And rosemary is perennial, so it will grow back every year. At least in my zone it does. So we're gonna chop this one pretty far down because, you know, the season is coming to an end, and I'm going to, like I said, make a tincture out of this. It says it's good for your brain, so we need good brain health. So that's what we're Oh God, my neighbor's cat. Oh, she creeps me out so bad. And then it looked like somebody with a hat on, like they were trying to look over the fence. It's a cat though. Anyway, honest truth, you should harvest rosemary often like most other herbs, but I have not. And so that's why it's pretty tall, and I'm only taking a little bit of the top because it's already kind of getting woody. But as long as I don't overcut, I should be fine. And I love having this at the beginning of the garden because when I walk in, I can smell it because it hits my leg. It's really nice. Smells really good. Rosemary is a very good smelling herb. And when I killed that rosemary that time, I was thinking, what did I do wrong? And then I realized I cut it way too low when I was harvesting it at the end of the season. But you live and you learn. And that's how I'm able to tell you now not to cut it too low. Also, how I can tell you to make sure you harvest it more often. It'll get bushier if you do that, and you'll get more rosemary from it. But we all know I didn't have time, so I didn't do it. All right, so that's our rosemary harvest. I keep trying to put it back where it belongs. It does its own thing. I'm cool with it. All right, that's the rosemary harvest. We love that. It's definitely enough to make some tincture, so excited about that. I don't know how I'm gonna show you all this. That lemon balm is huge. Y'all see it? And that's in a 7-gallon bag. It is huge. Okay, so my plan with this is just to try to pull some pieces out. I don't want to pull the whole plant, because like I said, I want to see if I can save this plant. So I've grown lemon balm before, but I've never actually harvested. I grew it, the frost came and then it died. So let's see how we can do this without taking the whole plant. Oh, you just kind of break it, apparently. If I'm not doing that right, y'all tell me. Because I feel like this is the part I keep. Is that what I'm doing? But when I broke it, it also looks like there may be more of it down. Well, no. We learning this lemongrass together, y'all. Yeah, I think I just break it. If I'm doing it wrong, tell me. Yeah, like that's a pretty big piece. I think that's what oh, that one was empty. I think it was a part of this. But yeah. Oh, it smells so good. But apparently, like I said, you can use the leaves and everything. So, I'm hopeful. I should have did my research. I'm trying to find the larger pieces. And I did grow this from seed. The seeds must have been pretty simple to start, because I might have started them in the winter sowing method. I'm not sure. It is itchy on my face. And someone told me it was itchy. Have a sweater on. Didn't think about it falling on my face. I do wonder if I can cut the top and let it start to kind of, you know, while I save it in the greenhouse, if I could just cut the leaves off. Not sure. Some more research I need to do. The rest of them are pretty small. So we'll put this back where it was and let it keep growing until it gets too cold out here. All right, so that's the lemongrass harvest. I think that's a nice harvest. And I know I gotta go through these leaves, and if they look, you know, diseased, I wouldn't wanna keep these. But lemongrass harvest, rosemary harvest from my backyard, and marshmallow root harvest. So now we're going inside and we're going to preserve this. Okay, so I grabbed my books. I'm gonna run through these really quick because I have a video coming out Saturday that's going to be more in detail. So it'll be out Saturday, but it's Herbal Remedies book, Herbal Remedies Handbook, Rosemary Gladstars Herb Book, Medicinal Herbs. This is one that's not in Saturday's video, but this is the Homesteader's Herbal Companion. And then I have the Herbal Apothecary. So really quick, there will be some information that's said on Saturday that you'll hear me say here, but I just want to let everybody know how I am approaching learning medicinal medicine. I feel like having more than one book that I can reference across will help me to say, okay, this is absolutely what this is good for. And then the other book, when it comes on, I think Sunday, then I'll have that one too. And there'll be more herbs in that book. So, all right, let's get started. So let me tell you the benefits of each of these. And I'm gonna read it from the Herbal Remedies Handbook. But I have referenced across because it just makes me feel better by referencing across books. And so let's see. Okay, so rosemary, you use the leaves, and then essential oil. It is an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antispasmodic, circulatory system stimulant, and digestive tonic, and a nerve tonic. Good for headaches, migraines, nervous exhaustion, digestion, poor circulation, low energy, and it can be used as a hair tonic as well. So that's where I'm getting my information from. And as long as I see the information in at least one or two more of these books, then I feel confident about it. And so the way that rosemary can be used, infusions, tinctures, and then of course essential oil. I'm definitely not going to be doing any essential oil. I'm going to make a tincture out of this. All right, marshmallow root. Marshmallow, you can use the flowers, the leaves, and the roots. It's a demulcent, and an emollient, and an expectorant. I gotta get better with the words, y'all. It helps with inflamed mucous membranes. And so it says, for example, acid indigestion, irritable bowel syndrome, and chronic bronchitis. Its sticky consistency means that it works like the body's own mucus to reduce discomfort and inflammation. So definitely want to get that in my herbal apothecary. The leaves are good for urinary tract problems as well as mild cystitis. And the flowers soothe the skin and contain a high level of antioxidants. So sounds like a good thing for me to add to my herbal apothecary. And now lemongrass, I just wasn't able to find much. I looked through all of these books, which is why I want the other book that I have ordered, because I need more information on lemongrass. But what I do know is, of course, you can cook with the stalk part. I did see that you can make a tea, and then I've seen people using the leaves. And so I'm just going to preserve it. So the stalk, I'm going to freeze in freezer bags. And then the leaves, I'm going to allow to dry until I can get some more information. But I do want to have it. That's been my whole problem the whole time, is I grow it, I don't preserve it. In the winter when I'm like, oh, I could start learning about herbs, I don't even have it. So that's my whole point in doing all of this. So let's get into what we're gonna do. I need to rinse off this marshmallow root, but let's get into it, y'all. I'm so excited to start learning this. Again, do your own research. I've read from these books, but I also, do your own research. Not an herbalist, but do want to learn, do want to take you along with me as I learn it. So the first thing we're going to do is rinse the marshmallow root. And someone told me before, they were like, please don't rinse things with dirt in your sink. It could end up clogging it. Makes perfect sense. So I have my cake pan, which we all know is used for everything but cakes. Then I'm going to put this in and just try to get it cleaned off. Get all the dirt off of it. Probably let it soak a little bit, but I just want to kind of move it around so I can get all the dirt off of it. All right, so we're gonna let those soak. I'm gonna put a little bit more water in it. Be right back. All right, so we're gonna let that soak for a minute. And we're gonna rinse these, put them through the salad spinner just to make sure we dry them off, the rosemary. Do that with one hand. And this is the reason I was looking for the salad spinner. Nice. Still a little damp, but not nearly as wet as they would have been. All right, so now we are going to pull the leaves off of this because I only want to keep the leaves. Like I said, I'm going to make a tincture today out of this. So what I am going to do is lay these out, let them dry and wilt a little bit on a paper towel before I make my tincture. So they're pretty dry from going through this salad spinner, but I just want them to dry a little bit more. So I also changed the water in the marshmallow root. So we're gonna let that soak a little bit longer. Okay, so I picked up some Ziploc bags, and how I'm gonna preserve the bottom portion of this lemongrass is I'm going to cut it to where I assume I should be. And then we're gonna just put it in the freezer. That's how we're gonna preserve these. So I'm gonna cut to about here. That's a little green. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be more of the white. Let's peel it and then figure this out. All right, so you just kind of unravel it. This is a pretty small one. Again, oh yeah, this is a very small one. We're learning together. So, smells delicious. I'm gonna cut a little more off because I'm pretty sure with lemongrass you keep the white. And I have saved lemongrass. If I'm doing this wrong, like I keep saying with these videos, or if you haven't seen the other video, somebody tell me. A little harder to cut than I was expecting. Ooh, that's a nice size one, y'all. At the bottom anyway. Yeah, see, that's a nice size one. Very exciting. This is a small lemongrass harvest. Look big outside. But that's fine, I'm learning. A tiny little lemongrass harvest, but I'm still gonna put it in the refrigerator and I'm still gonna keep it. So to the person who told me this is how you preserve your lemongrass, I very much appreciate you. So, lemongrass harvest so far of 2024. I'm excited either way. None of these look exceptional. Not to me. So I tell you what, this is going in the compost because, you know, things change. And as I learn more about lemongrass leaves, then we'll worry about keeping the leaves because we probably were supposed to harvest them a little bit earlier. If you know anything different, by all means, let me know respectfully in the comments, but this is going in the compost pile. All right, so now we are back on to the rosemary. It is pretty much dry. Been sitting here for a little bit. So it's pretty much dry now. We have Burnett's vodka. It is 100 proof. Everything I read said it should be 80 to 100 proof. And I believe we're gonna use rosemary Gladstar to find a tincture recipe for this rosemary. I do believe I saw one in here. Okay, so this is basic, the way that she has it in here, which I like. It basically says chop up the herbs, put the herbs in a jar, and then cover it by 2 to 3 inches. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the easy way today. And I don't wanna make a large one because rosemary is a herb that I used before, but I mixed it with another herb and I didn't have the best results when I used it. And when I say results, it just, I don't know how it was supposed to make me feel, but the way it did make me feel, it didn't make me happy. So we want to learn each herb. I want to learn each herb and how it makes me feel. And I do have a funnel, just don't feel like going to get it. So we're gonna do it like this. Super duper excited to start using these. And now tinctures need to sit for like 4 to 6 weeks. So I won't be using this anytime soon. But I am getting ready. And that's the part that has eluded me in previous growing seasons. You know, like actually saving them and getting them into the jars or into the fridge. So I'm doing much better with that so far this year. And I love that. And so that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a very small one. One of the things I realized is that I need to get some smaller jars because I don't wanna make a bunch of tincture that doesn't work for my body. So this is what, quart size jar, I think. If it's not, y'all know what size jar it is. But I wanna get some of the smaller jars so that I can make smaller portions until I use it and know how it works for me. So we're gonna cover this, like she said, about 2 inches above. So it's more like 2 inches on the bottom, but that's extra. And so now we're gonna let this sit. We might put a little bit more, 2 to 3 inches. And now we're gonna put this in a dark place to sit. I'm gonna write rosemary tincture on it, and then I'm going to put the date that I made it. Like I said, needs to sit for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then I'm gonna strain this stuff out, and then we're gonna see what we have, and I'm gonna start using it for the things that I think it's good for, or that, you know, I've read it's good for. So you'll see more tinctures in Saturday's video. So listen, Saturday's video is a sponsored video. And so that's why this video is coming out first, because I was waiting for them to approve the one for Saturday. But this one is coming out first. They have approved it, but I still want to put this one up first. But it is sponsored, and someone left a comment the other day, and they were like, on the generator, and they were like, a commercial ... which does not bother me. Over here, yes, I do sponsor content. I do sponsor content for things that I think you all would like. I do sponsor content for things that I want or need. And so, yeah, I do sponsor content over here, and sponsored content helps me to keep doing this. If you're not new here, you know that I now don't have a job. So I'm absolutely going to do sponsored content because this is my job. It helps too. So I appreciate all of you watching, you know, all the way through. I appreciate you watching the commercials when the actual commercials come up. I appreciate all of that. But yeah, I do sponsor content over here. So I was about to say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I mean, hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. But if it does, I do sponsor content over here. All right, so now let's get into the marshmallow root, and then we're gonna end this video. But I'm so excited to actually be starting my apothecary and actually using books to help me. All of that, and not just wilding willy-nilly. Okay, so I've wrote rosemary tincture. I wrote the day that I started. Now I'm gonna put it in the cabinet with the other things that you will see me make tomorrow. And I'm just gonna let it sit. And I'm gonna shake it every so often to move the things around, to let it get into the alcohol. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do is the marshmallow root. So I'm drying it a little bit with the with the salad spinner, and I have decided I'm not gonna pull all the roots off. I'm gonna hang this to dry. So one thing that Rosemary Glass Star reminds you is don't let your herbs stay laying somewhere too long or hanging somewhere too long, because you need to put them in an airtight container once they're dry, and then you don't want the dust and things on it. I am notorious for doing that, but at this point I think I can remember to let these, to take these down when necessary. So we are going to just get a good amount of the water off of them with the salad spinner. Then we're gonna hang them probably up here on the bread rack that we have been using, so it's in my eyesight instead of downstairs. So that's what we're gonna do. You can dehydrate. Like I said, you can dehydrate. It says to keep it on a low setting, but I do believe you still lose a little bit of the properties, and I just don't want to. It's a personal preference, but you absolutely can. And again, we're learning this together. I'm taking you on my journey. I'm not gonna say it's so much teaching. And I don't like this salad spinner at all. Unless you push it all the way back. I got this from Target. It's Figment. Unless you push it all the way back, the salad, it doesn't really spin. You see that? And now it's not really spinning like it started out spinning. I didn't like it. I'm probably gonna get another one. Cause, well, I don't like it for what I'm doing right now. Maybe for salad I would, but I don't like it for this. But my whole purpose for doing it was for herbs, so I could make sure they were dry before I put them where I was gonna put them. So it's decent. We're still gonna lay it on a paper towel like we did with the rosemary to let it dry a little bit more. But look how beautiful that is. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that's today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it, right? I'm enjoying this. If you're not into medicinal herbs, I get it. But I'm enjoying this so much that I quite possibly am making medicine for me and my family. And I mean, I love that. Anywho, like I always say, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in the garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.